Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 276. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and family, we have an excellent episode in store for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about 7 steps to building a business ecosystem that creates stability and provides multiple streams of income. 7 steps to building a business ecosystem that creates stability and provides multiple income streams. Now, before we get to today's episode, I just want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. And please stick around until the end of today's broadcast because I'm going to give you all of my social media contact information. And please connect with me via all of those platforms. And also, I'm going to give you my resource directory or a list of my resources, such as my new book and also my e-commerce platforms that help circulate Black dollars in the worldwide Black economy. So if you're a first-time listener, this is all about building an economic power base in the Black economy. So please stick around and check out those resources. All right, family, let's get on with today's episode. 7 steps to building a business ecosystem that creates stability and provides multiple income streams. So let's start off, guys, with what a business ecosystem is. So we're not talking about a biology ecosystem. We're talking about business ecosystems. And really, it's a system or a group of interconnected products, services, or businesses formed by the interaction of a community with their environment. A system or a group of interconnected products, services, or businesses formed by the interaction of a community with their environment. In a nutshell, guys, it's synergistic business opportunities, products, services, or business that branch off from your core business. They're synergistic opportunities. So it's not something that's totally not connected to your core business. And that's what we want to talk about today. Now, there's many benefits to being able to create an ecosystem. And today I'm going to give you some of the benefits. I'm going to give you some examples, and then I'm going to give you 7 steps to building an ecosystem. So one of the first benefits that came to mind is when you have an ecosystem, it helps strengthen your business foundation. Okay, because what it does is it kind of insulates you. The more products, services, or businesses that branch off from your main business, it gives you a stronger foundation. Number 2, it opens you up to additional business opportunities. Now, one of the things when I started Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, I never really thought about building an ecosystem, but it just happened. So that's why I tell people, when you're thinking about starting a business, just go and do it because you never know what that business is going to branch off into. And a lot of times you're not able to figure that out because you don't even know what your business is going to be yet until you get out there and put it out in the universe. Another benefit, guys, is it reduces your exposure by spreading your risk over multiple income producing entities, basically multiple streams of income. And we all know the worst number in business is 1. So if you have 1 client and you lose that client, you're out of business. If you have 1 income stream and you lose that income stream, guess what? You're out of business. So being able to have multiple streams of income. Now, many times when we start our businesses, we can't start off right away with multiple streams of income. We have to build to that. So that's why it's important to make sure that you have a core business that's bringing in income. Okay. that's sustaining you, that enables you to get to the point where you can get a second stream of income, a third stream of income. So focusing on your core business, making sure that's tight before you go out and start trying to get all these other multiple income streams. So I want to give you guys a couple of examples of businesses that have or had created an ecosystem. So first I want to talk about my boy Dame Dash with Rockefeller. So Rockefeller obviously started out as a record label. Then they moved into clothing. Then they moved into movies. And then they moved into alcoholic beverages. But it all branched off of Rockefeller to music. So what Dame Dash said in one of his interviews was, okay, I'm doing music. I'm doing videos. Why am I wearing somebody else's clothes when I can start branching out and create my own brand of clothes, Rockaware? Then he started talking about when he went into the movies, instead of doing product placement and drinking somebody else's alcohol, Hennessy, whatever else they drinking, create your own brand. And so that was an ecosystem. It all started from the core business of Rockefeller. Okay. Now, when Dame started that business, he even said he didn't even think about it at first. But what happens, like I said previously, guys, once you start getting into business, things will happen for you. Okay. I said it opens up additional business opportunities, and you're not going to know what those opportunities are until you start your core business. Okay. Now, I'll give you a local example of a chiropractor that I know in Philadelphia. And this is pretty ingenious. So the guy has a chiropractic office. He actually has 2 or 3 of them right now. And excuse me, when I started, I met the guy through a friend of mine, and we were just talking one day. And he said, yeah. I said, well, you have a chiropractic business? He said, yeah, I have about 2 or 3 offices. And then I have some additional businesses. And I asked him what they were. So the first business that he built in his ecosystem was a medical transportation business. And I'm sure you guys have them in any area that you live. So if people need to get to the doctor or whatever, they can call up a transportation company and they may come in a van and they'll take you to your doctor's appointment. And the reason he started it was initially it was for his chiropractic clients. So he was just doing it for himself first. So if somebody couldn't get to their chiropractic appointment, he would actually have somebody go out and get them. Now, once again, in that business, you get paid by capitation, which is a fee per person treated based on the healthcare system that the client uses. So, for example, every time somebody comes in, that chiropractic office for service, they get paid from Blue Cross Blue Shield or their healthcare provider. So it benefited them to make sure that as many people that were supposed to come came to those appointments. So he looked at profit and loss and decided, you know what? If I create my own fleet, I can bring in the people that are scheduled for appointments. So now after he did that and created that transportation business, he started reaching out to other chiropractors who could use the same service. And then he even expanded it more where he was taking people to regular doctor appointments. Once again, it's a synergistic business opportunity. So like you said, he didn't start out to create a medical transportation business, but that actually was an offshoot of his chiropractic business. So it made sense for him to create a fleet. I think he started with 2 or 3 vans, and they were bringing people, he said, in left and right because they had 2 or 3 different offices. And then he reached out to other chiropractors. Hey, could you guys use a medical transportation? Bam. So he's making money from that. And then he continued to build that. Now he even takes it even further. So many times when you go to a chiropractor, they're going to recommend that you go to physical therapy. So now he has one physical therapy center. So now after the chiropractic visits, they go to a physical therapy center. In addition to that, he actually had a gym because a lot of times with physical therapy, they want people to continue to exercise. So he had a gym and he just changed it into a franchise. I think it's a retro fitness franchise now. So this guy started out with one chiropractic office, turned into 2 or 3, a medical transportation business, which is a synergistic business. Then he did a physical therapy facility, which is another synergistic business. And then he had retro fitness, a gym, which was another synergistic business. So it wasn't like he started in his chiropractic business and said, man, I'm going to start a chiropractic business, a medical transportation, a physical therapy facility, and a retro fitness gym. It didn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You'll see the actual synergistic opportunities once you get into business. So that's why I tell guys and gals, get into the business, do something. Stop talking about it. Go and do something about it. All right. So that was an example. Now, I'll give you an example in my mortgage business. When I had my mortgage business, obviously it was predicated on people getting approved for mortgages. So what would stop somebody getting approved for mortgage? Bad credit. So at first we used to farm out all our credit, challenged individuals to a company. And what we found out was that they really weren't doing a great job. So I'd done credit repair, done it for myself, family members and friends. My other business partner had done it before. So we we created our own credit repair business inside of the mortgage business. And so if somebody came, we didn't have to farm that out. We could do it in-house. That was a synergistic business. We didn't have to create another office. All we did was we created a portion of our office, and we had about 4 or 5 desks over there with we hired credit counselors, people to help do the intake. Okay, so the mortgage business went to the credit repair business. Now, when people started foreclosing on their mortgages, we created a loan modification business to help people modify their loans. Okay, and to take it even one step further, before that, and we probably should have done this earlier, and this is one of my biggest regrets, we were in talks or conversations to buy a couple of RE/MAX franchises. RE/MAX real estate franchises, which is another synergistic business to the mortgage industry. Started out in the mortgage business, never thought about getting into the credit repair business, never thought about getting in the loan modification business, and never really thought about getting into the real estate business. But once again, it's an ecosystem. It's synergistic. Also, and I'll give you another example with the podcast, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. The podcast was started because I wanted to get this information out there. So for 2 years, all I did was, actually 2.5 years, was just put the information out, and people kept coming to me. Hey, can you help me do this? I need how to learn how to do this. So from the podcast, I created A New Black Wall Street, the book, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses, because it was something that people kept asking me to do because I talked about e-commerce. So from the book, then you go to Educated E-Commerce, which is my flagship online course. People kept asking me, hey, the book is good, but we need additional information to be successful in e-commerce. So I created that. So while I was writing the book, I told this story before. The book is about circulating the black dollar in the worldwide black economy. And I said, man, I'm telling people how to do it, what to do, but I haven't given them platforms to do that. So the 2 platforms, BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com, were created to help people do the actual transactions with black folks and keep our money in our own community. Then what happened was people kept asking me about all of these courses. And I said, well, how can I make it affordable for people to get access to all of my online courses? So I created BEB Academy, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Academy. So you can go in and get access to all the courses. And it started off at $25 a month. Now I got a digital magazine that I'm working on that's coming out soon. And just yesterday, I was in talks with people to actually start over-the-top TV station on Roku, Chrome, Fire Stick, and all of that stuff. So that's something that I'm thinking about. But once again, it's an ecosystem. My core business really is e-commerce. That's really my core business. But in terms of building an ecosystem, the podcast is the center point to that. My podcast is the core business for my ecosystem. And what you have around it, podcast is free content. The book is $14.95 or $9.95 if you use the ebook version. Then you have the flagship course, Educated E-Commerce. Be Smart by Black and Hire Black Freelancers are free platforms. The BEB Academy. Then you have the digital publication that's coming out in January, and then possibly a TV channel. So all of that is an ecosystem. Now, when I started the podcast, I had no idea that this would come about. Most of these are income generating, and they come from the ecosystem of Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Podcast. And once again, guys, I'm not that smart. So it's not like I said, man, I'm going to start this podcast and I'm going to go hard for 5 years. Been rocking and rolling since September of 2014. I didn't even think that far. I'm not that smart. All I want to do is put out the good content, and everything else came about by people asking me things. Hey, I need help with this. Can you help me do that? What type of business should I start? So all of that comes, guys, from being out there and putting things in the universe. So you have to have a core business, though, and we're going to talk about that. You have to have a core business that's going to pay you. All right. You just can't be out there playing like you're an entrepreneur. You got to get paid. Entrepreneurship is a full-time profession. It's not something that you play with. Now, if you're doing it part-time, yeah, you can play around. But if you're serious, it's a full-time profession. A profession means you get paid for doing something. All right. So you're not doing it for fun. You're not doing it for free. So that's what entrepreneurship is. So I want to talk about the 7 steps to building an ecosystem. There's 7 steps. There's probably more, but these are the 7 steps that I've used and other people have used to build an ecosystem. And step number 1, guys, is you have to create your core business. And not only do you have to create your core business, you have to create a sustainable, successful core business. Okay? Because if you don't have money coming in, cash flow, then you're not going to be able to sustain when you try to create an extension of your business. So you're going to have money to create a synergistic ecosystem, and it's going to be based off your core business. So it's all based off of the core business. If your core business goes under, not saying that's going to take under your other businesses, but it's definitely not going to help. In respect to the chiropractor I was talking about, if his core business went under, then he's losing a lot of money, even though he'll still have a medical transportation business, physical therapy, and retro fitness. What happens is when you have synergistic businesses, you have economies of scale if it's done correctly. And what that means is working together through all of these businesses, you're going to have better profitability and profit margin. So, for example, with the chiropractor business, it made sense for him to create a medical transportation business. Okay, that actually was making him money. Yes, there was an investment to create that, getting the 3 vans and hiring drivers, but it was beneficial because when he brought those clients into their chiropractic visit, he was making money. So it wasn't like he created a totally separate entity that had to create revenue just on its own. Same example with me in the credit repair business. That was just an offshoot of the business I was in, which was the mortgage business. So as opposed to funneling that out to somebody else, why not capture that income? All it took was hiring a few people, putting them in an office I already had. So I wasn't really out of a lot of money. And I knew based on the number of people that got declined for credit that I could be profitable. So once again, step number 1 is create your core business or solidify your core business. Step number 2, you want to research lost revenue streams that go to other businesses. Can you create a spin-off business to capture those revenue streams? Let me repeat that. Number 2, and we're talking about steps to building an ecosystem. Research lost revenue streams that go to other businesses. Can you create a spin-off business to capture those revenue streams? And the perfect example of that is my credit repair business. Once again, that was revenue that I was losing because I was sending that business to somebody else. So what did I decide to do? My partner and I decided to keep it in-house. We had the ability and the capacity to handle it, and we knew how to do that business because we've been in the mortgage business and we've done this before for ourselves, family, friends, and others. So number 2, research lost revenue streams. Where's revenue getting out of your doors? So you already spent money to bring a client or prospect into your doors, right? So now, while they're there, why don't you see if there's something else you can assist them with? Okay. So if there's any lost revenue streams, see if you can create a business to capture that, a business, a product, or a service, whatever, to capture that. Number 3, steps to building an ecosystem. Research compatible businesses that will enhance your current business. So research compatible businesses that will enhance your current business. One of the things we researched when I had the mortgage business was a RE/MAX real estate franchise, selling houses. Okay. Mortgage, house, they go together. Okay. So what we would do is we would refer a lot of our mortgage clients to our real estate agents that we work with, and vice versa. They would do the same thing. And what you found back in 2007, 2005, 6, 7, and 8, there were a lot of major lenders that had real estate arms. You wouldn't necessarily know because they may have had different names, but a lot of people were starting, if they had a real estate firm, real estate agency or brokerage, they would create a mortgage entity. Same thing, if you had a mortgage brokerage, you would create a real estate brokerage. So once again, they were synergistic. So number 3, research compatible businesses that will enhance your current business. Number 4, you want to identify synergistic businesses that complement your core business. Now, number 3 was research compatible businesses that will enhance your current business. But now you need to identify the synergistic businesses that complement your core business. Kind of similar, but when I say identify, I really mean to go into it more and make sure that it makes sense for you. So that's number 4. And we're talking about steps to building an ecosystem. Number 5, create a test to confirm proof of concept. I always talk about testing, guys. You never want to run and just dive in. You need to be able to test to prove proof of concept. So, for example, with our credit repair business, now because it was a synergistic business, it was part of our ecosystem, it was very easy to test, okay? So what we did was, once again, we had additional space in our office, and all we did was we hired we started out with one intake person that would take the credit repair information, and then we would go and we would actually work on that credit repair for the customer. So it was a simple test. And we did that for about 2 to 3 months, and we were getting overwhelmed. So what did we decide to do? We continued to bring in more people to help us expand that credit repair business. So first we created a test though. So number 5, create a test to confirm proof of concept. Number 6, create the first component of your ecosystem. So once again, after you test it, now you want to put it into play full bore. You're going all in. So number 6 is create the first component of your ecosystem. So it was the mortgage company. That was our core business. The first component of the ecosystem was the credit repair. Okay. So that was that. So that's number 6. Number 7, make sure that first component is fully functional and operating in a satisfactory manner before you add another component. I'll repeat that. Number 7, make sure the first component is fully functional and operating in a satisfactory manner before you add another component. Before you start getting into deeper stuff and other stuff, make sure that this is working right. Okay. Once again, in an ecosystem, it has to be synergistic and it has to work together. You may find out that the business may be too complicated or it may be too costly where it's not actually benefiting you as a whole. So the cost may outweigh the actual benefit. So that's what you have to do. Number 7, make sure that first component is fully functional and operating in a satisfactory manner, meaning that it's profitable and it makes sense. So before we review this stuff, guys, I just want to share some information with the BEB family. Normally I do this up front, but I'm going to do it now. And I talked about a little bit of this in today's episode, but my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. You can go to anewblackwallstreet.com, pick yourself up a copy. The ebook version has been revised and it has updated chapters. It's only $9.95. The physical book is $14.95. And these are the resources. If you're a first-time listener, these are the resources that I wanted to give you and I mentioned to you in the beginning of the episode. Also, if you need additional assistance building your successful, sustainable e-commerce business, I've created an online course that's compatible to the book titled educatedecommerce.com. Go to educatedecommerce.com and you can enroll in the course. Now, I mentioned the 2 platforms that I created when I was writing the book to help us circulate dollars in the worldwide Black economy. So if you're a Black product producer and you want to connect and sell with Black consumers worldwide, upload your product information to BeSmartByBlack.com, BeSmartByBlack.com. It's free to upload your products. Now, if you are a freelancer, you do anything like Fiverr or freelancer.com, I've created another platform for Black freelancers to connect with Black consumers and Black businesses worldwide. So go to hireblackfreelancers.com, HIRE blackfreelancers.com. It's free to upload your information. Now, if you needed to connect with me in terms of me coming out to speak at your church, college, university, school, organization, you can go to bookjjones.com, bookjjones.com, fill out the short form, and I'll get right back to you. Now, all this information is on bebconnect.com, bebconnect.com. I'll have all this information for the resources. Now, if you need to connect with me, and I talked about my social media handles, so please connect with me on social media. If you want to connect with me via email, if you have anything long to say, please hit me at jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, JAYJONES at blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. If you want to hit me on Facebook, just go to Facebook and type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Connect with me there. Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES 001. Instagram, jjones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. YouTube, please connect and subscribe to my YouTube channel because I have additional content on YouTube that is not on the podcast. Yes, the podcast does go to YouTube, but go to YouTube, type in BEB or Black Entrepreneur Blueprint and hit the subscribe button. LinkedIn, J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, I already told you about bookjjones.com. And if you want to be included in the BEB text line for special notifications and reminders, text BEB, like Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, to 555-888. BEB to 555-888. Now, I just want to recap real quick, guys. And today we were talking about 7 steps to building a business ecosystem that creates stability and provides multiple income streams. So once again, real quick, guys, the benefits are it helps strengthen your business foundation. It opens you up to additional business opportunities. You got to be in the mix to understand what makes sense in terms of a synergistic new business, product, or service. And also it reduces your exposure by creating multiple income streams. So once again, the 7 steps to building an ecosystem. Number 1, create your core business. Make sure your core business is sound and it's solid and it's making money. You're getting income. You got that cash flow coming. So create your core business because everything rocks off of that core business. Number 2, research lost revenue streams that go to other businesses. Can you create a spinoff business to capture those revenue streams? Okay, that's number 2. So once again, I use the example of the credit repair business. We were losing that revenue and it was a great spin-off opportunity. Number 3, research compatible businesses that will enhance your current business. So if there's a business type or a type of business that would be compatible to what you're doing, research that. Okay. Once again, I'll use the example of the chiropractor when he created the actual medical transportation business. Okay. It wasn't his specific business, but what it did was it actually enhanced his current business by bringing in as many customers or clients to get their chiropractic check. Number 4, identify synergistic businesses that complement your core business. Identify synergistic businesses that complement your core business. Okay. Number 5, create a test to confirm proof of concept. Once you identify that business, you need to create a test to get proof of concept. Okay. So we did a test. We started slowly. We had one person in for the credit repair, the intake person, and then we built up from there. Okay. So you want to make sure that you test. Okay. Number 6, create the first component of your ecosystem. So after you test and you get that proof of concept, then you put it in action. Okay, so you want to create that first component of your ecosystem. And step 7, make sure that that first component is fully functional and operating in a satisfactory manner before you add another component. You don't want to have too many branches to your ecosystem working at the same time, or starting at the same time, I should say, because you need to make sure that they're working, they're functional and operating satisfactory. So, for example, you may be making money, but are you making enough money to offset the actual cost? So you have to figure that out. So make sure that the first component is fully functional before you get to the next and the next and the next and the next. So once again, guys, building an ecosystem, synergistic businesses, products, or services that basically help you grow and give you a solid foundation and multiple streams of income. And many times, as I mentioned several times in this episode, you won't know what they are until you actually get into business. So if you're real smart and you have experience in a certain industry or business, you may be able to map that out in advance. Hey, I'm going to start a mortgage business, and then I'm going to get a real estate brokerage, and then I'm going to do X. I'm going to become a developer, But a lot of times it's hard to, you can map that out, but the actual execution of doing that, can you execute it? Once again, if your core business isn't executing right, everything else is pretty much a moot point, because then again, it won't be synergistic. So if your core business goes out of business, so say you're starting a mortgage brokerage firm, that firm goes out of business and you still get into the real estate firm, you don't have that synergy. So that same person that walks into your front door for your mortgage company can now actually be a potential client for your real estate brokerage. So if you lose that synergy from the mortgage company bringing customers or prospects in, then it's going to be more costly per customer to acquire a customer because you don't have those synergies. And before we sign out, family, I just want to say thank you so much to the BEB family. Each and every week, guys, we get more and more downloads, and that's attributed to you. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast and the blog and all of the BEB stuff that's going on. Love you guys. I'll see you same time next week. Peace.